as a kid, I didn't watch a lot of live-action TV. My family was one of the few back in the day that had the money for Disney Channel, but that also meant my older sister was always watching one show in particular, Hannah Montana. And I hated Hannah Montana. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I didn't gel with the story or its humor, or maybe even as a kid I could sense something happening behind the scenes there, but whatever the case, I didn't like the show. And the unintended side effect was that I assumed all live-action sitcoms were just like Hannah Montana. Not just on Disney Channel, but everywhere. But because Disney had like 3 animated shows at the time that caught my attention, Disney wasn't my go-to. You mean I have to sit through maybe 2 or 3 episodes of the Real People stuff before I get a chance of watching Kim Possible? Hell no. On top of that, I wasn't allowed to watch Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network as a 5-year-old, which honestly I think I dodged a childhood trauma bullet with that one. So my only options were the weird fringe Saturday morning blocks on the other channels. You know the ones. For me, this included Discovery Kids and Cookie Jar TV. Although back when I watched it, it wasn't Cookie Jar TV, it was Coolopolis.
Stay tuned, there's nothing cooler than Coolopolis.
Welcome to Geeky Yaps, a series where I talk at length about media I like a lot, but don't have enough to say to justify an independent video about it. Shows, games, movies, if I remember it, I'm making it everyone else's problem. And for this episode, we are talking about one of the last shows ever made by Deke Entertainment. For those who don't know, Deke Entertainment was this animation studio that did a lot of TV animation, and also some anime dubs. They're the studio behind the original English dub of Sailor Moon. You know, the one where they renamed Usagi Serena and made Uranus and Neptune cousins. They also made another show I watched all the time as a kid, the 2003 Strawberry Shortcake cartoon. If you're curious, Ginger Snap was my favorite. Anyways, around 2006, Deke was heading into its final years, which was around the time the Coolopolis TV block went live, and in 2008, Deke merged with Cookie Jar TV and was officially dead. But with their demise, they left behind the last 3 shows they'd ever have a hand in. One was Horseland, which I'm not gonna talk about because 1, someone already did, and 2, I never actually watched it. Because I took one look at the horses with the dyed purple hair and was like, this looks dumb. The other one was my Petit Souffle, Dino Squad. Ooh boy, do I have plans to talk about this show. You guys have no idea. I just need to work up the courage to re-listen to an interview where I was nervous and cringe and so clearly had never interviewed an industry professional in my life. But we're not talking about those shows today. We're talking about the third one. One that, while not wholly lost, has regardless become partially lost media. This was Sushi Pack. I feel like Sushi Pack is one of the most it's a cartoon suspend your disbelief premises of the 3 Deke cartoons. Like, the other ones are odd, sure, but they at least made sense for the medium. Horseland? Yeah, the horses and animals talk, but only to each other. The girls can't understand them. Okay, got it. We're operating on 101 Dalmatians logic. Dino Squad gets a bit more unhinged. We've got teenagers turning into dinosaurs to fight the big bad, but in an age where TMNT is still big, freaky mutants aren't too out of pocket in a cartoon clearly aimed at a younger boy demographic. Then there's Sushi Pack, which is about sentient sushi living in the town of Wharf City while fighting crime. One of them is a psychic tuna voiced by Tara Strong, and their rogues gallery includes a guy who can bring paintings to life with an organ, a really depressed dude that can seed the clouds with tears in order to spread sadness across the city, a samurai space crab, an evil purple lunch lady named Oleander, and another team of sentient ingredients called the Legion of Low Tide. I would pay money to see Athena Pia try to make heads and tails of this one. So the Sushi Pack consists of 5 members. We've got Taco, who I think is the leader. He's a little octopus guy who also does art on the side because, you know, ink. My friends relate to him way too hard in the episode where the previously mentioned organ-playing villain steals all the art in the public gallery except for Taco's. Something modern art and him thinking it's not real art. No one tell this guy about Who's Afraid of Red, Yellow, and Blue. Taco is voiced by Rick Adams, who's a news and radio host from the UK. Out of everyone in this cast, at least of the main 5 in the Sushi Pack, Rick is an outlier in the sense that you have a pretty high chance of meeting the rest of the cast at a convention. Then we have Meguro, who's a tuna with psychic powers and always talks about being zen and feng shui. She's constantly doing the meditation pose and floating around like meta-type. Like, yeah, all these other guys can throw projectiles and stuff, but she has real powers. She's also voiced by Tara Strong, as previously mentioned, who I think is the highest profile voice actor in this show, or at least the most prolific. We've also got Ikura, who's supposed to be a salmon, or maybe salmon roe. He's got the little globs on the side of his head that look like the eggs, and he can shoot flaming salmon eggs at his enemies. He's also afraid of bears because, haha, bear eat salmon. Also, Atlas immediately clocked his voice actor as Andrew Francis, aka, Mega Man? Also, I feel the need to point this out. This is the same guy that voices Shining Armor in My Little Pony.
I'm calling it the Super Salmon Slip.
Oh, I've missed you, kid. How was the train ride?
We have Connie, who is my absolute favorite. She's a cranky little crab girl, and she has crab claws for pigtails. That is peak character design. Another on the list of people who voiced my childhood because she's voiced by Chiarizani, aka Mariposa from the Barbie movie of the same name. She was one of a handful of voice actresses that just got shuffled around the Barbie filmography, it seems, because she also was Nori in the Mermaidia movie. Then there's Wasabi. He's Wasabi. It's funny, they keep calling him Spicy Mustard in the show, and I thought this was a Jelly Donuts moment all over again. But nah, Wasabi is actually in the same family as Mustard. They're cousins. Wasabi has the power to shoot fireballs, but that's a given. He also doesn't really talk, he just kind of jabbers. And he's voiced by some guy named Scott McNeil. What's this dude's filmography anyways? I don't think of... Piccolo! Also, Wasabi is entirely immune to the one weakness of the sushi pack. Heat. Get it? Because sushi is meant to be served cold. But Wasabi's whole thing is being spicy, so cold temperatures are his weakness. There's also Ben, the sushi pack's friend who runs the vegan donut shop where they live. He's fun. Also, he casually created life in one episode. There's also the Legion of Low Tide, as previously mentioned, who are the main recurring villains. They actually live in a sushi restaurant and their leader runs it, which I find very funny because imagine walking into a sushi bar and seeing this thing behind the counter. I'd still eat there, honestly. Titanium Chef is their leader, a catfish in a samurai helmet or something. He can also create life, kinda. He made a fake Wasabi in one episode to try and trick the sushi pack, but he got taken out immediately once the real Wasabi showed up. Titanium Chef is voiced by Adam Bear, who, it seems, mostly does puppet work, which is pretty neat, but aside from that and other smaller voice roles, he also did the narration in the Deathly Hallows Part 2 trailer?
For mayhem and chaos. Aha! Bunk-a-roo.
Spectacular finale is the must-see movie of 2011.
By the way, tangenting for just a second, there's lines in both the intro and outro theme of the show that amount to just, the sushi on my plate is talking. My headcanon, since Titanium Chef seems to be the only sushi chef in Wharf City, who also just so happens to have the power to make little guys, is that Ben, the donut guy, bought sushi takeout from Chef's Sushi Bar, brought it home, and then it started talking. And that's why the sushi pack isn't evil and why they hang out in the donut shop. And also why Ben is vegan. Okay, back to the Legion. Then there's Fugu, voiced by the same guy as Wasabi. He's a puffer fish whose power is to blow up and float away like a balloon. Toro, another tuna, but this time being tuna belly instead of the more regular cut of tuna that Maguro is. He's a sumo wrestler, and that's pretty much all there is to him as far as I remember. Maguro and him bond over being tunas at one point. Then there's Uni, a Jamaican sea urchin who can shapeshift. He's voiced by Samuel Vincent, frickin' Double D from Ed, Edd n Eddy. We've got Unagi, an eel with lightning powers, because of course he does. What else do you do with an eel in an action cartoon? You're not prepared for who voices him though. Goddamn Skeletor. Not the original, the one from the 2002 He-Man series, but still, Skeletor. And then Mochi Macchiato, a sentient mochi ice cream with ice powers. The cutest thing I've found is her secretly being friends with Connie and Maguro. Can I just say, I love the art style. I don't know what it is, but the way the sushi pack is drawn reminds me of the quintessential early 2000s apparel and skate gear ads. Like something you'd see at Volcom or Quicksilver, that kind of stuff. God, I tried to find the specific brand that I was thinking of, but it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't find it. It was an ad in the window of a famous footwear, I swear to God. The show style is also giving anime a little bit, which... yeah, makes sense. It's a show about sentient sushi that fights crime. Maybe they're trying a Sanrio thing, actually. That might be the better descriptor. Whatever. Point is, the art style is cute. Also, when they spin dash to the scene of a crime, it looks like a sushi roll, which is very fun. Now, to get to the thing I'm sure you guys are actually here for, how did this become lost media? You see, Sushi Pack used to be available to purchase on Amazon Prime, which is how I found out about it being lost media. The show is no longer available because of expired rights. I did a little bit more digging, and that's when I found out that, well, the series isn't totally lost. There's uploads on YouTube, as well as an entire VHS rip of the show on the Internet Archive, but despite this, there are around 8 episodes of the 52-episode run that are either partially or entirely lost. In Season 1, those episodes include Satelliting, which is about an asteroid merging with a satellite to form a giant robot monster that the Sushi Pack needs to fight. And I legit have vague memories of this one. Seeing the robot design was like a sleeper agent code word to me. I remember as a kid thinking the asteroid looked like a giant meatball. Like they wanted it to look less like a rock stuck in its head and more like an exposed brain. Then there's Sweet Tooth, which is the obligatory healthy eating episode where Wasabi eats nothing but chocolate and gets fat, and Wharf City on a half shell, where the city gets attacked by a giant clam. Also, while looking for any clips that might exist of this episode, I ended up finding this old review page on Blogspot by complete accident. It's called The Rabbit Hutch and seems to have a lot of old cartoon reviews from the late 2000s. It hasn't been active since 2013 though, so don't expect anything from it now. They reviewed a handful of Sushi Pack episodes back in the years the show was still airing, including some of the lost ones. Came in clutch for figuring out what was even going on in some of these episodes. Their review of Wharf City on a half shell gives more details on the plot than Wikipedia does, that's for sure. Looks like the episode's main lesson was compromise, giving a little to get a little. Connie has a system for keeping her tools, and Meguro wants to keep the donut shop in perfect feng shui. This helps her negotiate with a giant space clam that wants to eat Wharf City. The negotiation being, you don't eat the earth, and we don't hose you down with lemon juice. In season 2, we've got 5 whole lost episodes. Disoriented on the Sushi Express has the Sushi Pack trying to find Ikura's mint-conditioned action figure or something, and then they end up visiting an amusement park. Or sorry, de-amusement park. That one villain whose whole thing is making people depressed is in this one. Also, why does this ride have that lever? They could have, like, straight up killed him. Then there's Sushis of a Certain Stature, which is about some statue or something commemorating a superhero. Also, what the hell? This guy who uploaded this clip has access to the full thing. I see that timeline right there. Come on, upload that Then there's Donut Whodunit, where Ben gets kidnapped by Titanium Chef and the Sushi Pack does a full-on detective investigation to try and find him. This is another one I found a full review on from 2009. Then there's Sushis at the Center of the Earth, where the only remnant of this one is this crunchy thumbnail of the YouTube upload that used to exist. According to the Wikipedia page for the show, there's something about a Lava King where they need a lion say Wasabi is the leader of the pack so they can make a deal with him or something. The Rabbit Hutch never reviewed it, so we're in the dark on this one. And finally, there's Disappearing Act, where the villain, Jimmy Sweettooth from that one episode where Wasabi gets fat, starts robbing people all over the city with holograms, and Connie pulls an all-nighter to find clues. She does this by eating jelly beans. But that doesn't do much to help when she gets really sleep-deprived and crashes hard. I assume this episode was about drug abuse. I will not take criticism on this analysis. And that's about it. Those are all the episodes that are partially or fully lost, all because of some copyright disputes. This is why I buy DVDs of everything I love, and no, I will not stop doing that. Shame this thing never got popular enough for a box set. Here's to hoping one day someone either finds the missing 8 episodes or American Greetings comes to some kind of agreement with someone so we can watch the show legally again. Though with all that said, is this show even good? Listen, it's a fun show, it's cute, Taco is far too relatable among my artist friends, Connie is the best crab character design in all of media, and Wasabi being voiced by Piccolo is something I'm going to jump scare all of my friends with for the rest of time. But it is definitely a Saturday morning cartoon that was all about teaching kids lessons. The inciting incident of the episode where Wasabi gets replaced by a clone is the pack teasing Wasabi, and then having Ben, the vegan donut guy, explain to them why teasing is bad. But it's at least more well-meaning and creative than half the stuff you see nowadays. In an age where every piece of kids media is a reboot or just kind of bland or worse, memorable for all the wrong reasons, it's nice to see something that is like trying something, you know? Plus, I don't think it deserves to be lost media even if it's not a great show. As Cinema Wins once said, every movie is somebody's favorite, and I think that goes for most everything. Every piece of media has its fans, and if Sushi Pack has 0 fans, then that's how you know I'm dead and buried 6 feet under. Well, there we go. That was me talking about Sushi Pack while drawing fan art. I'm hoping to do more episodes in this series with other stuff I watched as a kid, and more media I like in general and don't have enough to say for a more extensive video. I have ideas for more episodes in this series, and I'll be putting out a poll today on my channel to decide what I draw for next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!